Circus Caps for Sale. A companion to Caps for Sale. Written and illustrated by Esfra Slobodkina. Circus Caps for Sale. Early one morning, Pezzo the peddler woke up. He jumped out of bed and began to dress. First he put on his socks, next he put on his clean white shirt. Then he put on his fine black and white checkered trousers. And later he put on his fancy yellow shoes. Then the peddler put on his jacket and his lucky cap, picked up his oars, and was ready to go to work. The peddler walked fast as he could without upsetting his caps. For, you see, the peddler sold caps, only instead of carrying the caps in a bundle on his back, he carried them on top of his head. First he had his own black and white checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. As soon as he got to town, he began to call out, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But the street was strangely quiet. No man stopped a peddler to try on a cap. No woman leaned out of a window to see if they were really good caps. No children ran after the peddler. There weren't even any dogs to follow him. But as he came nearer to the town square, the peddler began to hear the sounds of voices and loud music. Of course, he thought, it must be the county fair. Sure enough, the nearer he got, the clearer he saw that it was indeed a county fair. The Ferris wheel turned, the merry-go-round went round and round, and at the far end of the square, the peddler saw an enormous circus tent. "Caps for sale! Caps for sale!" the peddler began to call, but before he got to saying 50 cents a cap, boom went a big drum as the circus parade came around the corner. "Oh, well," sighed the peddler, "he is bigger than I. I'll wait until he goes by." Next, a great big bass horn came into view and began to thump. Pa, pa, pa. "Oh, well," sighed the peddler again, "he is louder than I. I can't wait until he goes by." But what came around the corner next was not just a big drum or a loud bass horn, but the whole circus band. The trumpets shrilled, the trombones blared, and the little piccolos went tweedle-dee-dee. The big cymbals went bong, and the tiny triangle went ping. "Oh, well," sighed the peddler for the third time, "there are so many of them. I'll just have to wait until they go by." The peddler saw the circus riders prance by on their plumed white horses. He saw the fierce lions and tigers and the chattering monkeys in their cages. He saw a truckload of trained seals and dancing dogs go by. Four striped zebras, 3 long-necked giraffes, 2 double-humped camels, and 1 huge elephant. It was a wonderful parade. Even the peddler thought so, until he met up with Jumbo. Jumbo was the circus elephant in the parade. He liked to perform tricks to amuse the crowd. Sometimes he would simply take some peanuts from a child's hand and put them in his mouth. Sometimes he would fill his trunk with water and pretend to give himself a shower. And sometimes he would steal a hat from a man in the crowd, try it on his rider's head, and return it to the stranger. Naturally, when Jumbo saw the peddler with his pile of caps, he reached for it with his long trunk. In a second, there was a very surprised elephant, a very amused crowd, and a very, very sad peddler. For all the red caps, blue caps, brown caps, and gray caps came flying down in every direction. When the tumblers, the jugglers, and the clowns saw all the caps falling, they thought it was a new trick the big boss added to the parade. So they each caught a cap and went on with their acts. The clowns The clowns clowned in brown caps, the tumblers trembled in gray caps, and the jugglers did their juggling with their red and blue caps. The crowd roared with laughter. Everybody was delighted, except the peddler. Down the main street and all around the town, the parade marched, with the peddler running after it, calling, "My caps, my caps! Please give me back my caps!" But nobody paid any attention to him. Nobody even heard his voice. At last, the peddler gave up. He sat down on a bench under a big tree and watched the parade disappear around the corner. When the parade was over, the circus people gathered in the big top to congratulate the big boss on his new clever trick. Thank you, my friends," said the big boss, "but I had nothing to do with it." "Then who did?" asked the jugglers. "Who did?" asked the tumblers. "Who did?" asked the clowns. "Jumbo did," said Joe, the elephant rider. And he told the circus people about the little peddler. Joe also tried to show how the peddler carried all his caps, but when he got to the first brown cap, all the caps fell down. Then one of the clowns tried to put on the caps, but when he got to the first blue cap, all the caps fell down. Everybody tried. Even one of the jugglers tried, but when he got to the last red cap, all the caps fell down. "Aha!" said the big boss. "Perhaps it is not such an easy trick after all. And if it's not such an easy trick to do, my friends, does it not belong in the circus?" "Yes, yes," shouted all the circus people. So the big boss sent two tall men to find the little peddler. The peddler was not at all hard to find, for he was sitting on the bench under the tree, thinking his sad thoughts. "Come quickly," said the two tall men. "The big boss himself wants to talk to you." So the peddler went. "Hello there," said the big boss to the peddler. "They tell me you can carry all these caps on your head without dropping a single one. Neat trick, I say, if you can do it." "Yes, sir, I can," said the peddler. He knelt in front of the caps. First he put a bunch of brown caps on top of the bunch of gray caps. Then he put the bunch of blue caps on top of the bunch of brown caps. Then on the very top he put the bunch of red caps. Very carefully he picked up the whole pile and put it on top of his own black and white checked cap. Then slowly, very slowly, he got up from his knees and began to walk around, calling out, "Caps for sale, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." "Bravo, bravo," shouted the big boss. "Bravo, bravo, bravo," shouted the rest of the circus people. "How would you like to do your act in the circus ring?" asked the big boss. I don't know," stammered Pezzo. "I am only a peddler who sells caps, but if you really want me to, of course we do," said the big boss. "There's nobody else like you." That evening, when the circus lights went on, the show was really grand. There were horse riders and elephant drivers. There were trained lions and tamed tigers. There were dancing dogs and talking seals. There were tightrope walkers and jugglers. And tumblers and clowns. And of course, there was the peddler. Everyone did their acts very well. But most of all, people liked the peddler. They clapped and whistled when they saw how he carried on top of his own black and white checked cap, the gray caps, the brown caps, the blue caps, and on the very top, the red caps, without dropping a single one. The peddler was delighted. He walked around the ring, feeling very straight and tall, and calling, "Caps for sale, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." After the show, Pezzo the peddler sold all his gray, brown, blue, and red caps. Someone even wanted to buy his own black and white checked cap. But the peddler wouldn't part with it. It was his lucky cap, he said, and besides, it matched his own black and white checked trousers. The end.
White Snow, Bright Snow by Alvin Treslet, illustrated by Roger Devinson. The postman said it looked like snow. The farmer said it smelled like snow. The policeman said it felt like snow. And his wife said her big toe hurt. And that always meant snow. Even the rabbit knows it and scurried around its in the dead leaves while the children watched the low gray sky, waiting for the first snowflake to fall. Then, just when no one was looking, it came. One flake, two flake, five, eight, 10, and suddenly the air was filled with soft, powdery snowflakes, whispering quietly as they shifted down. The postman put on his rubbers. The farmer went to the barn for a snowy shovel. The policeman buttoned up his coat. His wife made sure she had cough mixture in the medicine cabinet. But the children laughed and danced and trying to catch the lazy snowflakes on her tongues when the rabbit hid in their warm burrows under the ground. Faster and faster came the tiny snowflake, and the brown earth turned white. Fields and snows, stone walls, roads and gutters, lawns and sidewalks all were buried under the soft white snow. It covered the roof of the houses and piled on the top of chimneys. It filled the cold tree branches with the great white blossoms. And when night came, icy cold snowflakes sparkled in the light of the street lamps. The postman slipped and fell into the snowbank. The farmer dug a path from his house to the barn. The policeman got his feet wet and had to soak them in a tub of hot water. His wife put a mustard plaster on his chest so he wouldn't catch cold. The rabbit stood in the sleep deep into the warm burrows under the ground under the snow, and the children dreamed of the snow houses and snowmen as they slept in the slug beds under the rooftops under the snow. Silently, the frost made pictures of the ice ferns on the window pans. Then, window with a sound, just when everybody was asleep, the snow stopped and the bright stars filled the night. In the morning, a clear blue sky was overhead and the blue shadows hid all the corners. Automobiles looked like a big fat raisins buried in a snowdrift. Houses crouched together, the windows peeking out from under great white eyebrows. Even the church steeple wore a painted cap on its top. The postman put away his rubbers and took off his high boots. A farmer milked his cows in a barn filled with a bright snow light. The snowman had a chill and stayed in bed. His wife sat in a rocker and knitted a long woolen scarf for him. The rabbits hopped up as best they could, making long, funny rabbit tracks in a soft snow. The children made a snowman, a snow house, a snow fort, and then had a snowball fight. The window pushed light puff of white from the branches while the melting snow on rooftop dripped into a long shiny icicles. Each day the sun grew stronger and the snow melted. Big patches of soft, muddy and grout showed through the snow in the fields. The sound of the dripping and running water and the smell of the wet brown earth filled the warm air. Now the branches were bare again and the grey pushy willows pushed out of the brown shells. Fences posts lost their dunce caps. The snowman arms dropped off and the running water gurgled in gutters and drain pipes. The postman slowly delivered his mail so he could enjoy the bright sunshine. The farmer let his cows out in the barnyard for the first time since the winter began. The policeman's scold was better and he swung his club in the air as he walked in the park. His wife dug around under the lilac bush, looked for the snowdrops and crosses they grow there, where the rabbits spend all the time hopping about in the warm world above the ground. And the children watched for the first robin to tell them spring had really come. The end. The Scarecrow Hat, written and illustrated by Ken Brown. The Scarecrow Hat. That's a nice hat, said Chicken to Scarecrow. Yes, it is, replied Scarecrow, but I would rather have a walking stick. I have been standing here for years now and my arms are so tired. I would love to walk stick to lean on. I would swap my hat for a walking stick any day. Now the chicken didn't have a walking stick, but she knew someone who did. That's a nice walking stick, said Chicken to Badger. Yes, it is, replied Badger, but I would rather have a piece of ribbon. It gets hot and stuffy underground, so I prop my door open with my stick, but I'm always tripping over it. If I had a ribbon, I would tie the door open. I would swap my walking stick for a ribbon any day. Now the chicken didn't have a ribbon, but she knows someone who did. That's a nice ribbon, said Chicken to Crow. Yes, it is, said Crow, but I would rather have some wool. My nest is on this high stone ledge and it's very hard to sit on. I would love some warm, soft wool to line it with. I would swap this ribbon for some wool any day. Now the chicken didn't have any wool, but she knew someone who did. That's a nice coat, said Chicken to Sheep. Yes, it is, replied Sheep, but I would rather have a pair of glasses. I have to keep a lookout for the wolf, and my eyes are not good as they used to be. I would really need a pair of glasses. I would swap some of my wool for the pair of glasses any day. Now the chicken didn't have a pair of glasses, but she knows someone who did. That's a nice pair of glasses, said Chicken to Owl. Yes, it is, said Owl. My old one broke, so I had to get a new pair. But I would rather have a blanket. The sun streams through my window and keeps me awake all day. Which wouldn't matter if I had a good, thick blanket to sleep under. I would swap my glasses for a blanket any day. Now the chicken didn't have a blanket, but she knows someone who did. That's a nice blanket, said Chicken to Donkey. Yes, it is, replied Donkey, but I would rather have a few feathers. Their flies drive me crazy, buzzing around my ears. My tail isn't quite long enough to flick them away, but if I had some long feathers tied to the end of it, I could swat them easily. I would swap my blanket for a few long feathers any day. Quick as flash, Chicken pulled out 1, 2, 3 of her longest feathers and tied them to Donkey tail. Donkey was delighted and, true to his word, swapped his blanket for the feathers. Chicken took the blanket to Owl. She swapped it for the glasses, the old ones, of course. She took it to the glasses to Sheep, who swapped them for her wool. She took it to the wool to Crow. She swapped it for her ribbon. She took it to the ribbon to Badger, who swapped it for his walking stick. Finally, she took the walking stick to Scarecrow. With a grateful sigh of relief, he leaned his tired old arms on his stick and gladly swapped it off for his battered old hat. Chicken took the hat and filled it with a fresh and sweet smelling straw. That's a nice nest, said Duck. Yes, it is, said Chicken. And I wouldn't swap it for anything. The end. What do you do with Kangaroo? Written and illustrated by Mercer Mayer. What do you do with Kangaroo? Who jumps in a window, sits on your bed, and says, I never sleep on wrinkled sheets, so change them now and make them smooth and flip up the pillows if you please. You throw him out, and that's what you do. Get out of my bed, you kangaroo. What do you do when you go to the bathroom to wash your face and hanging there where your towel should be? Brushing his teeth like he owns a place is an abusum. He says to you, this toothpaste you use is much too sweet, and your toothbrush, I am sorry to say, it's all worn. Please get me a new one tomorrow. You grab him up by his skinny tail and carry him off. That what you do. Get out of my bathroom, you opossum. What you do if you want to get dressed by wearing your jeans, your favorite pair is a llama who says, I lost my pants on the tennis court, I think yours will do. Throw the color all wrong, the knees are tied and the button is gone. The cuffs are frayed, and for goodness sake, the seam is ripped. So send this right off to the tailor. What do you do? You throw him out, that's what you do. Jimmy, my pants back, you llama. What do you do when you go down to eat and there is on the table dipping his paws in your cereal's bowl in a smiling raccoon? This cereal is stale. He says to you, but I'm so hungry that I don't care. And I never eat with the dirty paws, so bring me a gold-plated finger bowl that filled with water of center rose. And bring me a towel of fluffy lamb wool and a whisker brush too, for I am very neat and hungry and hurry. I have been waiting all morning. What do you do? You throw him out. It's as simple as that. Stay away from my breakfast, you raccoon. What do you do if you want to go out, but there is a doorway blocking your view? Stands a large baby moose. I won't move, she explains, till you gives me a bath in apricot juice and brush my teeth with the sassafras root and place me a tune on a brass French horn and say, pretty please, 15 times. What do you do? You threw her out. That what you do. Get out of my way, you old moose, you. What do you do if you want to go for riding, but there is on your red painted tricycle seat sits in a brown Bengal tiger with flashing green eyes? Hurry up, he explains, and push me along to the Taj Mahal Circus before it's too late. You all have to push fast and sings me a song about waffle and aeroplanes and matters of fact. And when we arrive, just to show you my thanks, I will eat you for dinner or breakfast. What do you do? Give the tiger a push. If that's what he wants, you push him right off. That's all there is to it. Get out of my tricycle, you tiger. What do you do if you fill up a tub, but before you get wet, a camel comes in and drinks the tub dry? Then chewing a washcloth, he says with a burp, Now fill up the tub. I have a terrible thirst. And throw in some tasty bath salt. If you please, but this time leave out the soap. What you do? You threw him out, that's what you do. Get out of my bathtub, you camel. What you do if it's late at night, but all snuggles up where you always sleep is a camel, a moose, or a llama, or a possum, a tiger, a raccoon, and a kangaroo. All at once they say to you, we were very sorry if you want to sleep, but as you can see, there is no more room. So make some warm milk and bring us a glass and find some more blankets. It's chilly in here. And remember the chocolate chip cookies. Now I will say it again. What do you do? Well, you know what to do. You throw them all out. That's what you do. What you do if you can't throw them out? You let them stay. The end.
Let's Go Froggy by Jonathan Landon, illustrated by Frank Remequiz. Let's go, Froggy. It was warm. Froggy woke up and looked out the window. Birds, butterflies, flowers. Hurry, sang Froggy. I want to go out and play. Okay, said his father. How about a bike trip and a picnic? Would you like that? Yes, cried Froggy. Let's go. First, you have to get ready, silly, said his father. Okay, said Froggy. I'm getting ready. So Froggy got dressed. He pulled on his underwear, zap, pulled on his shorts, zip, pulled on his socks, zoop, pulled on his sneakers, zup, and buttoned up his shirt, zut, zut, zut. Froggy, called his father. Let's go. I'm ready, yelled Froggy and flopped out to show him. Flop, flop, flop. But Froggy, said his father, you need your bicycle helmet. I don't know where it is, said Froggy. It's wherever you left it. I forgot. You have to look for it. So Froggy looked for his helmet. Flop, flop, flop. He looked under the sink. Bonk. He looked in the fridge. Slam. He looked in the toy chest. I found it, yelled Froggy, and put it on with a slap. Zap. Froggy called his father. Let's go! I'm ready, yelled Froggy. Flop, flop, flop. You should bring your butterfly net, said his father. I don't know where it is. It's wherever you left it. So Froggy looked for it. His butterfly net, flop, flop, flop. He looked under the coffee table, bonk. He looked in the garbage can, slam. He looked in his father's golf bag. I found it, yelled Froggy, and swung it at a fly, swish, but missed. Froggy, called his father. Let's go, I'm ready, yelled Froggy, flop, flop, flop. How about the ball Grandpa gave you? Asked his father. I don't know where it is. It's wherever you left it. So Froggy looked for his ball, flop, flop, flop. He looked under the stove, bonk. He looked in the cookie jar, slam. He looked in the bathtub. I found it, he yelled, and kicked it into the goldfish bowl. Splash. Froggy, called his father. Let's go, I'm ready, yelled Froggy. Flop, flop, flop. Let's bring the bag of peaches Auntie Lolo gave you, said his father. I don't know where it is. It's wherever you left it. So Froggy looked for the bag of peaches. Flop, flop, flop. He looked under the kitchen table. Bonk. He looked in his closet. Slam. He looked in his bed. I found it, yelled Froggy, and took a bite. Scrunch. He was getting kind of hungry. Froggy, called his father. Let's go. I'm ready, yelled Froggy. Flop, flop, flop. Daddy, can I bring that pack of trading cards Uncle Gary gave me? Okay, Froggy, but hurry. Let's go. I don't know where it is. It's wherever you left it. Oops, here it is. I found it. It was in my pocket. Can we go now, Daddy? I'm ready. Okay, but do you know where my red backpack is? Asked his father. Daddy, it's wherever you left it. I forgot. Froggy pointed. It's on your back. Froggy laughed. Oops, cried Froggy's father, looking more red in the face than green. Ready to go at last, Froggy flopped to the bicycle. Flop, flop, flop. Let's go, Froggy, said his father. I'm hungry, said Froggy. I want to eat now. So they ate their picnic on the potato. Munch, scrunch, munch. Okay, I'm ready, said Froggy. Let's go, said his father. And off they peeled into the sunset. The end.